Hi there, in this video I'm going to talk about how I made this bed and how you can create one just like it, even if you have minimal tools. Now anyone is going to have different possibilities when it comes to building something, well anything really. So I think at the beginning it's very important to define a few certain criteria, and these are: number one, what tools do you have? So ultimately these are going to be the tools that you're going to use to build whatever it is you're going to be building, and you need to take into account what you have when you are designing it. Number two is how much you want to spend. So this is obviously a very big variable depending on who you are, what you do and whatnot. I've built things on a really tight budget where there is no money. I've also built things where money is no option. So I've done everything. I've seen both sides of the spectrum, and I've seen that you can do it on both sides of the spectrum. Number three is your design. So how do you want it to look? And you need to take into account points 1 and 2 when you are designing it. I like to try and figure out what I want and how I want it to look, and then try and figure out how to fit it into what tools I've got and how much money I've got. Now I think the most important thing about any project is the planning. If there's no plan set up right from the beginning, then you're already going to be making life difficult for yourselves. Okay, so in my case I defined the things that we just discussed, 3 points: how much I wanted to spend, what tools I had and whatnot, and then I went to designing it on the laptop in Fusion 360. So what I'll do now is I'll show you the program, I'll walk through the design a little bit on the laptop. Okay, so this is Fusion 360, and this is a software that can be used to design things in 3D, and then you can use it to control CNC machines. You can use it, it's a very good program. I might do a video in the future where I show you just this program, but for now let's take a look at the bed. Okay, so this is the bed as you can see it here, and we've got on the top here the 2 mattresses. This is the headboard that I was telling you about, and if I spin it round you can see the back here is cut at an angle just here, and that is how that angle is produced. Okay, so if I turn the mattresses off here like that and turn the bed bases off, you can see how it's designed, although I did actually change the design slightly. This cross member that's here, I ended up putting it in through the length of the bed and not the width, purely because the bed base actually rests on top of that lip there, so I just modified that slightly. But yeah, that's how it looks from the underneath. We've basically got a plywood frame around the outside, and then on that plywood frame there are these pieces here which are beech. I use beech for all of the decorative stuff. Everything you can see is made of beech, and they are screwed into the plywood frame basically. From this angle here you can see the angle that the headboard's at, and the detail on the top here as well, how that is been cut. So that's been cut at an angle, and that's obviously not a perfect 45 degree, because this angle here is also not 90 degrees. And if I turn this side off here, we can see that this piece of wood here is slightly trimmed down there, and them two are screwed together. So yeah, as you can see, I've not gone into full detail on the design, on all the construction elements of it, where the screws sit and everything like that, but I've got a basic design for dimensions on how long each bit needs to be to make it look as it needs to be. Okay, so I built the bed in sections. I started with the plywood frame, and then I would remove one piece of plywood and attach the beech side to it. I did that for the sides and the footer, and the joint between them 2 pieces was at 45 degrees to give it sort of a nice look when you're looking at it. The headboard, as you can see, was a little bit more complicated. We've got them 2 posts, and they was cut at a slight angle at the bottom to make it tip back a little bit. I then added the slats at the top and the front. The slats on the top are 2 pieces that are joined together like that. I cut them on a saw, on a table saw, and then glued them together. That gives the illusion that it's one solid piece of wood that's been given a nice big rabbit on the back, but it hasn't. And once the headboard framework was made, I glued it and screwed it to a similar piece to the footer. The only difference being it didn't have the 45-degree angles on the sides, it had butt joints and it was between the sides. And once it was all finished, I put a nice coat of tint on it to make it match the furniture that we already have. I then followed that by a nice coat of wax to protect it, and then I brought some mattresses and a nice bed base to finish it all off. I also installed these cool little LEDs all the way around the outside of the bed, and they are a great alternative to a normal bedside lamp. Okay, so now you're pretty much up to date. That stage where it is now, that is where I'm at the point of filming this video. Now, what I would like to do is to finish these guys off. Now, I folded these when I built the bed, and the idea is that, let's just mop this up. So let's say that's the edge of the bed. This side table is hopefully going to just either slide in on this side, so on the outside, and we're gonna have to make some sort of like a frame, some sort of a bracket so it can stay there basically. Ideally, I'd like this to be like a small gap here between where the mattress is, so that I can put it in both ways. I can have it in like that, and I can turn it around and have it in so that this part here is over the mattress if I want to. So I've got all the parts here. I've got some scrap wood here which we're going to chop up, and I've been to the local hardware shop, and I brought this strip of aluminium, anodized aluminium, and I've got some nice velvet here, some velour velvet from there as well, which I'm going to hopefully use on the inside of the bracket to protect it a little bit. So cue the epic build montage. Okay, so as you can see, it's installed. Basically, I skipped a bit of the video process there. It's going to need another coat of oil, and I'm going to do a video just on finishing projects, so like stains, oils, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to do a video just on that because you can get a lot of it wrong if you do it wrong. But yeah, basically I finished it up. I put a nice coat of like a velour, like a velvet on the inside of there to protect the bed, and it just hangs on the edge there. Okay, so I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm fairly new to all this YouTube stuff, so if you like the video, give it a like. It's not a lot of work for you. Just click the like button if you liked it. If you disliked it, click the dislike. Give me a comment, feedback, whatever. I need as much help as I can get in these early stages. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.